I'm always touting positivity. You know what? We need to know some things about negativity too. What are the disadvantages to a negative attitude? We talk a lot about positivity. Having a positive attitude makes a huge difference. A negative attitude, well, that has an impact too. Let's talk about attitude first as a little different kind of a concept. This idea was shared with me by my friend Mike Schlappe, who wrote this book, Shot Happens. Mike was actually shot in the chest when he was 14 years old. It left him paraplegic. And he speaks a lot about attitude. Mike has a little different take on attitude than I've heard from other speakers or presenters. He learned about this from an airline pilot. Okay, and if you're an aviator, maybe you can relate to this. As Mike was interviewing this particular pilot, he found out that one of the most important instruments in the cockpit is the attitude indicator, not altitude. You think altitude when you think aviation, right? Attitude, not altitude. What is the attitude of an airplane? An attitude refers to the position of that plane relative to the ground or the horizon. The position. A lot of times we think about attitude as how we feel. In this conversation today, attitude is not how you feel. It's your position. Now, can you see in aviation that a nose down attitude is heading us into the hard stuff? Whereas a nose up attitude is going to give us altitude. So how does that relate to psychology? Let's go back to the primary model that I've shared with you. The very first video that we launched on a daily basis here at Live on Purpose TV. You can link to it right up there. Had to do with how to stay positive no matter what. And I shared with you this model. Evaluation and creation are two processes that are constantly going on in our mind. And as you look at this model, you'll see that in the evaluation side, as we compare what it is to something worse than what it is, we feel better. As we compare what we've got to something better, we feel worse. That's evaluation. In creation mode, we imagine, we use this powerful tool of our imagination to come up with something that we can create. And as we imagine that things are going to get worse for us, we feel worse. That's on the top half of this diagram. As we imagine that what's coming is better than what we've already got, we feel better. That's for a whole review of that. Go look at that other video. But as a quick review, our position matters. So let's go back to the attitude conversation for a minute. It is what it is. I know. That's kind of annoying to hear. Depends on who's saying it and why. But all it means is the way things are right now. Now, is it good or is it bad? Notice that you are taking a position about that. Your position is your attitude. You are never wrong about how you feel. How you feel is 100% consistent with the way your own mind is doing this process. Your position is your attitude. So what if I take an attitude or a position that what I have is bad? This is terrible. Oh, my life sucks. It's a position, it's an opinion, right? Let's go to this next slide and take a look at what effect that's going to have. When you start with a negative evaluation, that's on the bottom side of the graph, and you say that this is bad, and notice that's just a position you're taking, it's your attitude. How likely are you from this position to go do something productive? Yeah, not so much. Think about it. When you're feeling depressed, inadequate, not good enough, failed, defeated, flawed, like your life is terrible, how likely are you to go do something productive and healthy? Not so much. You are more likely to make a mess. And folks, we have the ability to make a mess, don't we? Yes. That's pretty good news, actually, because if you've got the power to make a mess, what else might you have the power to make? All it means is you've got some creation power. Let's harness that and use it well. One of the biggest downfalls of a negative attitude is that it sets us up for negative creation. And just check your own experience about this. This is when people come home and they kick the dog and yell at the spouse. It's not helping. You're probably making things worse. You think? Yeah. Conversely, if we start from a positive place in our evaluation mode, okay, so you take whatever it is in your life, can you get to a position or an attitude that this is good, that I am richly and abundantly blessed? What if you can get to that place? Okay, first of all, you're going to feel different, aren't you? So as you look at this bottom green arrow, that's how you feel when you make a positive evaluation of what it is. When your attitude or your position is that this is good, the way it is right now without changing anything. That's a little hard to do if you've been practicing the opposite thought. That this is bad, it's terrible, it's horrible, oh my gosh, look how terrible my life is. If you've been practicing that, you're probably pretty good at it. So when I invite you to take a different attitude or position about that, it might not feel normal at first. This is good. And folks, there are all kinds of arguments that your situation right now, the way it is good. Now, if you want to debate about that, you can make a comment down below or something. We can have that conversation. But just consider that for a minute. Because when you start from that positive energy, that this is good, you just created currency that you get to take to the creation game. Meaning the energy you generate here will carry through and allow you to go create something even better. And you know that this is true. Just think of your own feelings. When you're feeling grateful and happy and satisfied with your life, how likely are you to go do something productive? Yeah, do you see? This is how we power it up. Let's go back to that idea of currency for just a minute. I remember a story shared by Wayne Dyer about mental currency. So as you look at this United States currency, this money, what do we use it for? Well, we go trade it for stuff, right? Let's say that I gave you $1 million. Okay, you like this game so far? And you take your bushel of money and you go down to the mall and you can buy anything that you want. You go into the first store, they're selling trees, plastic trees. You're like, didn't really need a plastic tree, but I'll take a look. So you start looking around. You find one that is particularly disgusting. It's gross. It's hideous. It's like, who would ever want that in their house? You go grab the tree. You drag it up front. You slam it down in front of the clerk. What's the deal with the tree? Who would ever want this in their house? You look at the price tag. It's $30,000. You're like, who would ever pay that for this tree? You pull $30,000 out of your pocket. Give it to the clerk. Send it to my house, you say. And then you leave mad. You didn't want the tree. I know, weird story, huh? Stay with me. You go to the next store. They're selling pots. Probably for the trees. I don't know. So that you can put those at the bottom. And these are gross and disgusting too. You don't like these any more than you like the trees. And you find one that's particularly hideous. You look at the price tag. It says $10,000. You're like, what? Who would ever pay 10 grand for this ugly pot? You drag it up to the front, slam it down on the counter. What's up with this? Who would ever want this? You pull $10,000 out of your pocket, give it to the clerk, send it to my house. Gosh, this is not going well. What is wrong with this story? And then you go home, and what do you fill your house all filled up with? All this crap that you don't want. Where did it come from? You bought it. Now remember, we're talking about thoughts here. We're talking about attitude. So forget about money for just a minute. What are you purchasing with the currency of your thoughts, your attitude? And if you find your house all filled up, your life all filled up with this stuff you don't want, pay attention to where it's coming from. How are you spending your precious life energy, your thoughts, your attitude? I hope you're enjoying these videos. I'm enjoying these videos because I get to interact with you. I'll see you tomorrow.